In the mountains of Arcadia, where the wind carries the scent of pine and the lament of ancient firs, Lysander learned to shoot before he learned to speak. His father Damon was a respected hunter whose arrows never missed their mark, not the swiftest deer nor the stealthiest wolf. His mother Iris wove hemp nets with agile hands, while his two younger siblings, Cleon and Elpis, ran through the fields like wild goats. Life was hard but just. The land was poor but generous. And the yew bow that Damon gave Lysander on his 10th birthday was more than a weapon. It was a promise to protect his own. Until the mercenaries arrived. Not with trumpets, not with banners. They arrived at dawn like armed shadows, led by a man named Caelus, an ex-Roman legionary expelled for treason, now master of a company of stateless war dogs. Caelus didn't want gold. He wanted land. And Damon's farm, with its freshwater well and wheat fields, was perfect for his new kingdom. That morning, Lysander was high on the cliff, training. He saw the torches approaching. He heard the screams. He ran. But he arrived too late. He found his father with his hands bound, kneeling before Caelus. His mother, with a cut on her face, held Elpis, weeping. Cleon, only 10 years old, tried to bite one of the mercenaries and took a blow that knocked him down. "Shoot Lysander," his father yelled, seeing the bow in his son's hands. "Finish him." Lysander raised the bow. His aim trembled. His heart beat like a war drum. He aimed at Caelus. He loosed the arrow. And missed. The arrow embedded itself in the tree behind the mercenary. Caelus laughed, a dry, soulless sound. An archer who misses, pathetic. Then he ordered Damon to be chained, Iris and the children taken to the fields as slaves, the house set on fire. Lysander fled. Not out of cowardice, out of shame, because in that moment he knew he was not the hero his father believed him to be. He was just a boy with a broken bow and a lost arrow. For weeks he wandered the mountains. He ate roots. He drank from murky streams. He slept in caves where the wolves left him alone, perhaps out of pity, perhaps recognizing another wounded animal. His body weakened. His eyes, once bright as the dawn sky, grew dull, empty. Until on a stormy night he heard a sharp cry, not human but celestial. He followed the sound to a sacred grove, where an ancient olive tree had been struck by lightning. Under its scorched branches, a bird was spiraling down, a golden eagle with golden wings and eyes that shone like fixed stars. One of its wings was broken, pierced by a hunting arrow, the work of a profane hunter who had dared to violate the grove consecrated to Zeus. Lysander hesitated. He knew that touching a sacred creature was punishable by death, but he also knew that, if he didn't act, the eagle would die. With trembling hands, he removed the arrow. He used strips of his tunic to bind the wing. He offered water from his water skin. He sang a song his mother had taught him, a melody to heal wounded animals. For 3 days he cared for the eagle. He expected no reward. He expected no forgiveness, only to do what was right. On the 3rd night, the eagle raised its head, its eyes fixed on Lysander's. And then it spoke, not with a human voice, but with a sound that echoed inside the young man's soul. "You saved me without knowing who I am. That is rare among men." Golden light enveloped the bird. It grew, transformed, and before Lysander stood Zeus, not in the form of a shining god, but as an old shepherd with deep eyes and a silver beard. "Why did you save me?" the god asked. "Because it was what I had to do." Zeus smiled. "Most would ask for wealth, power, vengeance, but you asked for nothing. Therefore I will grant you one wish, only one." Lysander did not hesitate. "I want perfect aim, to never miss a target again, to never fail my family again." Zeus tilted his head. "Be careful what you wish for, son of the bow. Perfection is a blessing and a curse." And with a touch to his forehead, the world changed. Suddenly, Lysander saw everything. The wind as invisible lines, gravity as golden chains, the hearts of targets as pulses of light. His eyes were no longer human, they were windows to the truth of movement. "Use this wisely," Zeus said, disappearing into the mist, "for the arrow that does not miss also does not forgive." In the following years, Lysander became a legend. In the taverns of Greece, they told of a phantom archer who shot from mountaintops and hit a man's eye at 1,000 paces, that he could pierce a deer's heart at a full run, without the animal even feeling pain, that he once diverted an enemy arrow in midair with another arrow, a feat considered impossible. But Lysander didn't seek glory. He trained, he studied, he planned. He knew Caelus now ruled a small fiefdom in the hills of Messenia, with a stone fortress, 30 loyal mercenaries, and a network of informants. He knew his family still lived, enslaved but alive. A traveler had told him he'd seen Iris weaving cloaks in the inner courtyard, and that Cleon, now a teenager, worked in the forges. And he knew that, this time, he would not miss. The journey back was silent. Lysander traveled disguised as a merchant, then as a pilgrim, then as a runaway slave. He watched Caelus's fortress for weeks. He studied the guard shifts. He mapped the supply routes. He noted that every Friday, Caelus went out to hunt boar in the northern forests, always with 2 men, always by the same path. It was the opening. On the eve of the attack, Lysander climbed to the highest peak in the hills. The wind blew from the east. The moon was waning. Everything was aligned. He assembled his bow, not the yew bow of his childhood, but a composite bow of horn and sinew, forged by a blind craftsman in Delphi. The arrows had obsidian tips, sharp as promises. The next morning he waited. When Caelus and his men entered the clearing, Lysander was already in position. He saw the mercenary laugh, point to a boar, raise his spear. It was then that Lysander fired. The first arrow went through the throat of the guard on the left before he heard the whistle. The second embedded itself in the heart of the one on the right. Both fell without a sound. Caelus spun around, sword in hand. "Who's there?" Lysander dropped from the tree. He walked into the clearing, bow slung over his back, hands empty. "Do you remember me?" Caelus frowned, then he laughed. "The boy who missed the arrow. You've grown, but you're still a fool. Today I won't miss." "Then shoot," Caelus challenged, opening his arms. "Show me your power." Lysander didn't move a muscle. "I didn't come here to kill you. I came to take you back, before my family, before the land you stole." Caelus spat on the ground. "You think you can take me? I have 30 men in the fortress. You have, what, a bow? That I have what you never had, justice." Before Caelus could react, Lysander loosed an arrow not to kill, but to immobilize. The obsidian tip pierced the mercenary's Achilles tendon, pinning his right foot to the ground. Caelus screamed, falling to his knees. "You'll pay for this." "I already have," Lysander replied, binding him with hemp ropes, "every day since I fled." Back at the fortress, Lysander used Caelus's identity to get inside. Disguised in the mercenary's cloak and using his hoarse voice to give orders, he led the prisoner to the central courtyard. The guards, accustomed to their lord's brutality, didn't question it. In the courtyard, he saw Iris. She was thinner, her hair gray, but her eyes still had the same strength. Beside her, Cleon, now a young man with broad shoulders and a hardened gaze, forged chains with calloused hands. And Elpis, now a woman, washed clothes with mechanical movements, as if she had forgotten how to smile. When Lysander removed his hood, silence fell over the courtyard. "Lysander," Iris whispered, as if fearing he were a ghost. "I'm here, mother." Caelus, dragged by the ropes, laughed. "You think this changes anything? The fortress is mine, the land is mine, they are my slaves by law." "There is no law that justifies cruelty," Lysander said. Then he did something that surprised everyone. He climbed to the highest roof of the fortress. He raised his bow, and before all the guards, servants, and slaves, He fired an arrow not at a man but at Caelus' banner, a black wolf on a red background. The arrow split the flagpole. The banner fell into the mud. "Who else wants to be master of this land?" Lysander asked, his voice echoing like thunder. The slaves looked at each other. One of them, an old blacksmith, picked up an anvil hammer and dropped it at a guard's feet. Another broke his chains. In minutes, the rebellion exploded. The mercenaries, disorganized and leaderless, were overcome. Some fled, others surrendered. That night the family gathered in the main hall, now free. Iris hugged Lysander as if she would never let go. Cleon, shyly, touched his brother's bow with reverence. Elpis cried, but they were tears of relief. "Why did you come back?" Iris asked. "Because I promised myself I wouldn't fail again." "You didn't fail that morning," she said, holding his face. "You were a child. The mistake wasn't yours. It was the mistake of a world that allows men like Caelus to exist." Caelus, bound in a cell, was judged the next day by a council of villagers. With no army, no allies, he was condemned to perpetual slavery in the silver mines, the same punishment he had inflicted on so many. But the story didn't end there. On the eve of his departure, Lysander was visited by a messenger from the temple at Delphi. He brought a message from Zeus. "You use the gift wisely, not for blind vengeance but to restore balance. Therefore the gift will remain. But remember, perfect aim is not meant for dominating. It is meant for protecting." Lysander understood. In the following years, he did not become a king. He built no empire. He became a guardian. He traveled through the villages of Greece, teaching the young to shoot not to kill, but to defend. He created an order of archers who swore to protect the defenseless, the weak, the forgotten. And whenever he passed by his old home, now rebuilt with new olive trees and a clean well, he would leave an arrow embedded in the tallest tree, not as a threat, as a promise. Because true perfect aim is not in the eyes. It is in the heart. And Lysander, the boy who missed one arrow, became the man who never again missed the path home.